For 600 years, an empire bestrode the world like a colossus. Its name was the Ottoman Empire. But how did it begin? Not with a bang, but with a dream and a siege that changed the world. The year is 1453. The city, Constantinople, the mighty heart of the Roman Empire for 1,000 years. Its walls were impregnable. For 7 weeks, the young Sultan Mehmed II has hurled everything at them. His massive cannons have battered the ancient stone, but the defenders hold firm. Mehmed knows he must do the impossible. In a move that shocks his generals, he makes an audacious plan. He will do what no navy has ever done. He will sail his ships over land. Under the cover of darkness, thousands of men, oxen and rollers are assembled. They lay down a track of greased wooden logs, and one by one they begin to haul 70 of his warships up the hill and over the peninsula. Imagine the scene. As the sun rises, the defenders wake up to a sight that defies all understanding. The Ottoman fleet is now inside their harbour. The city is surrounded. The psychological blow is catastrophic. Soon the walls are breached. The last Roman emperor charges into the fray and vanishes into history. Mehmed, now only 21 years old, enters the city. He rides to the Hagia Sophia, the greatest church in Christendom, and proclaims it a mosque. He is now Mehmed the Conqueror. But with great power comes a terrible price. Mehmed, to secure his legacy, introduced a law of blood, the law of fratricide. It stated, "For the welfare of the state, the one of my sons, to whom God grants the sultanate, may lawfully put his brothers to death." Imagine you are a prince. You live in unparalleled luxury, but the moment your father, the sultan, dies, the world turns into a gilded prison. You hear footsteps in the hallway. The door bursts open. It's the royal executioner carrying a silk cord. Your brother, the new sultan, has just taken the throne, and your life is forfeit to ensure there is no civil war. This was the brutal, brilliant, and terrifying reality of the Ottoman system. A system so effective and so ruthless that it held 3 continents in its grip for centuries. How did they build it? And why does the shadow of the Ottomans still loom over our lives today? To understand the Ottoman engine, we have to look at its most unique creation. An army of slave soldiers taken from the families of their conquered Christian subjects. This was the Devshirme, or child levy. It sounds like a nightmare, and for many it was, but it was also the empire's secret weapon. These boys, selected for their intelligence and strength, were converted to Islam and put through the most rigorous education system in the world. They learned martial arts, theology, mathematics, and statecraft. The very best didn't just become soldiers, they became engineers, architects, and governors. They could rise to become the Grand Vizier, the second most powerful man in the empire, answering only to the Sultan himself. This was the Janissary Corps, the first professional standing army in Europe since the Romans. They were forbidden from marrying, their loyalty belonging solely to the Sultan and the state. This was a meritocracy. A Christian shepherd's son could rule over native-born Muslim nobles. This system created an administrative class of unparalleled skill and loyalty. For a time, with a stable state, the empire became the world's greatest commercial hub. If you wanted to trade between East and West, you went through the Ottomans. They controlled the Silk Road, and in their cities they engineered a unique form of coexistence, the Millet System. Instead of forcing everyone to convert, the sultans allowed religious minorities, Greek Orthodox Christians, Armenian Christians, Jews, to govern their own communities under their own laws. They paid a special tax, but in return they were protected. This wasn't modern equality, but it was a pragmatic recipe for stability that kept a vast, multicultural empire from tearing itself apart. When the Jews were expelled from Spain in 1492, where did many of them flee to? The Ottoman Empire. and they built to last. The chief architect, Mimar Sinan, a man also recruited through the Devshirme, defined the skyline of the empire. His masterpiece, the Suleymaniye Mosque, wasn't just a place of worship. It was the heart of a massive complex containing schools, a hospital, a library, public baths, and a soup kitchen. The mosque itself, with its massive central dome, was a statement in stone. God is great, and the Sultan is his shadow on earth. But no empire lasts forever. The very systems that made the Ottomans great eventually became their cage. The Janissaries, once the vanguard, became a conservative political force, resisting any change or new technology that threatened their privileges. Meanwhile, Europe was exploding with new ideas: the Industrial Revolution, the Enlightenment. The discovery of the New World and sea routes to Asia meant the old land-based trade routes, the empire's economic lifeblood, began to dry up. The Ottomans, believing in their own superiority, stalled. They failed to adapt. They became the sick man of Europe, a giant being slowly carved up by hungrier, more modern nations. It's the ultimate historical lesson on the danger of institutional inertia. So the next time you sip a strong cup of Turkish coffee, walk through a bustling bazaar, or even use a word like yogurt, caviar, or kiosk, remember the sprawling empire that connected worlds. The Ottomans were more than just conquerors. They were master system builders who shaped the world we live in today. But here's the thing, we've only just scratched the surface. The history of the Ottomans is filled with stories so wild you just have to hear them to believe them. For instance, did you know the Sultan had a chief turban folder? That was a real, highly respected job at court. What was the deal with the harem? It was less a pleasure palace and more a powerful political finishing school run by the Queen Mother, where women wielded immense influence over the empire. And how about this? The Sultan Suleiman the Magnificent was also a gifted goldsmith and poet who wrote passionate love poems to his wife, the powerful Hürrem Sultan. Or that a parrot once caused a major diplomatic incident between the Ottoman Empire and France. Seriously, we are not making that up. Want to know the answers to these bizarre questions? Do you want to dive deeper into the stories of pirate admirals, scheming grand viziers, and sultans who wrote poetry? Then your mission is clear. First, smash that like button, it really helps the channel. Second, subscribe to the channel, don't miss a single chapter of history. And finally, ring the bell so you don't miss our next adventure. We have so much more history to explore together. Until next time, history is waiting for you to hit play.